Hey guys, this is David with the Mortgage Edge podcast brought to you by Click and Close Mortgage. Today I got a very special guest from San Antonio, Texas, Sebastian Montante. How you doing, sir?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on the show. So, Mr. Realtor, killing it in the market, but you're kind of unique, man. You're still kind of a rookie, but you're putting up better numbers. How long have you been a realtor?
I've been a realtor since it's been about 4 years, and I'll tell you a little bit about the journey, how it started. Before that, before I was a realtor, I was living in Taiwan for about 4 years. I came back. I was working for my uncle's construction company in Laredo, Texas. Getting not doing that well, and I was seeing that people were killing it in the real estate world. And I said, "Hey, I've always been a personable guy. I can do that." And so I decided to, take the classes, do the tests. And so I was working for another brokerage for about 8 months, and that was a rude awakening. I didn't do one deal in those first 8 months of my career, so just eating away at my savings. And so came a point where I was like, okay, well, I have to make a difference to see, how I can start being a little bit more successful. So I joined my current brokerage, Exquisite Properties, who are absolutely great. And I joined as a showing partner. And the showing partner position is a 1 year position where you work under an experienced agent for a full year. We did actually 56 deals. So it's like you're getting the repetitions that actual realtor should be getting, you know, coming face to face with all those different circumstances that you see as a realtor, and then you're able to learn from that. So it's more like a master's program, in a 1 year master's program in becoming a realtor. So I learned so much. And then so I went on my own starting the second quarter of 2023. I was salaried as a showing partner, and then I went out my own. I basically doubled my income, doubled volume, of course, and that was a great experience that first year. And then 2024 was my first full year, um, and again, a doubled production as well. So it's been doubling and doubling and doubling. I'm meeting more and more people, helping more and more families out. So I'm super grateful for Exquisite Properties and being able to be in the position that I am now, and being able to help like I said, as many families as I've been able to help.
That's a great story. So let's unpack that a little bit. I
Sure.
want to go all the way back to living in Taiwan. So, so how does that happen? Were you? I mean, what did you do for a job? Everybody,
So I was at UTSA. So originally from Laredo, Texas. Once I graduated high school, went to UTSA. At UTSA, one of my best friends gave me the idea that he was starting to study Chinese. We're both fluent English and Spanish, and so he had the idea of studying Chinese, and it just kind of struck a chord with me. So I started taking Chinese at UTSA. I did a couple study abroad programs in China, and then once I graduated with a political science degree in 2015, I was like, well, if I'm serious at all about learning the language, I'm going to go back to Asia, either whether it be China or Taiwan, to keep learning.
yeah,
So. I I applied for to teach English in China. There was no availability in China, so they offered Taiwan. I went to Taiwan. I was looking to use it as a resume builder for law school. That's
yeah.
what my original plan was, and I just loved it so much. Instead of staying for that originally intended 1 year, I ended up staying for about 4 years. And yeah, I opened up a taco stand over there. It was a crazy, crazy experience. Really fun. A great country. Shout out to all the people in Taiwan. They're very welcoming people.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So I pulled something out there. Did you say law school?
I
Or are you
wanted to
gonna
do
go?
law school. I wanted to do law school, and I just enjoyed the island life so much. I just kind of put it in the back burner, and it's gone now.
Well, Taiwan's a beautiful place. So
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is beautiful.
yeah. So you come back. You work for your uncle's construction company. What'd you do for the construction company?
I was more or less a
Or
supervisor, project supervisor. I managed a 36 condo project um,
Mhm.
in Laredo, Texas. So I got a lot of experience in working with all these different tradespeople, electricians, plumbers, carpenters, a lot of different workers, and so I feel that I'm able to incorporate that 1 year journey that I had into the real estate world, into being a realtor. I feel like I have a different perspective that maybe strictly salespeople do. I also have that somewhat of a construction. It was 1 year. I don't have, I wouldn't call it a background, but it was a great learning experience.
It's a lot more than 99.9% of the
Yeah.
realtors out there. So I
Yeah.
would say you're the resident expert on that. You get to
Yeah.
walk in and see if something's really messed up or not before they order an inspection or so forth. So fast
Exactly.
forward, fast forward. I can't say enough how many people fail as realtors. I think last year alone, though I saw a stat that 70% of the realtors in the United States did sell zero transaction, zero.
Yes.
Um, and so that happens a lot more than, and the fact that, you worked 8 months at a company and didn't sell anything, and then you go to a company where they have a mentorship program and show you how to do it and stuff like that. So let's talk about that because I think that was big. I think that was the catalyst of what propelled you to where you're at today. So were you on salary? Because again, realtors are 1099 independent contractors. Or did they pay you some money while you were in an apprenticeship or while you were learning?
Yeah, so during that showing partner program, you are on a salaried position for it's $30,000 a year at the time. I think that it's increased since then, but yeah, it was tough either way. There are commissions included if you bring your own steer deals to the table, but it's not a huge percentage of commission. So the logic behind it is this person, this realtor that you're working under is spending, time and effort to be able to train you and coach you to become a solid realtor in the market. And you'd pay him back by bringing business to them. That's kind of the logic behind it. But yes, you are on a salary as well. And again,
That's
that
awesome.
was a great learning experience. I think the biggest thing for me there is, 'cause again, from Taiwan, I was working Monday to Friday, always had weekends off. It was always weekends off. It's my whole life. It's been weekends off. You rest on the weekends. Um, and and so that was kind of a bit of a shock there, because as a realtor, I get, as a lender as well, you very well know that weekends, that's when people are looking for homes. That's when people need pre-approval letters. And so there's no rest. There's no taking breaks on weekends anymore. And so that was the kind of the big first lesson. I think anybody can be successful in this world, in the real estate world. I just think it's not passive. A lot of people become realtors because they can control their schedules a little bit better, or because they
Yeah.
want the freedom to do things. I think it's the opposite. I think you got to work harder, because you don't have just it's not just 9 to 5. It's 8 to 8 or 8 to 10. Sometimes you get calls from clients at 10 p.m. You have to answer, hey, help them with whatever it is, right? And so I think that was kind of one of the main lessons that I learned as a showing partner, aside from all the technical contracts, um, and every other aspect of being able to go through that transaction. Just the work ethic was huge to be able to carry that on to now where I am a solo agent.
Yeah. So let's fast forward. Can you imagine being in any other job besides a realtor? Is this what you're going to do for the rest of your life,
I think
Sebastian?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm also part owner of a restaurant here in San Antonio, and so but this is what I do. 90% of what I do is this, and I love it. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you I love writing contracts. I don't. You know, I wish I had an assistant to just write up all my contracts, and that's the next step. Um, but what I do love is I love helping people, different type of people with different personalities, all kind of get them to that same goal of home ownership. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
to answer your question, yes, I do see myself doing this, at least for the foreseeable future.
Well, they have that. It's called a transaction coordinator. You take it once it goes under, they write the
Yeah.
contract, they process it. So it sounds like that's the next evolution or the next step. So let's talk about a little bit about the real estate market in San Antonio, man. 2024 was supposedly one of the toughest years for mortgage for real estate. They say it was the worst year in 20 years, even worse than 2008. But yet your numbers show that you did really well. My numbers show that we did really well. What do you think the secret to your success was last year?
Um, I mean, I think aside from the work ethic, I'm here, for me, being a realtor, being a good real estate sales agent. there's the transaction part of it, there's the showing homes, but I think the main part is the prospecting. Where are you getting your leads? So I'm
Yeah.
here almost every day from 9 to maybe about 4, depending on, of course, everything changes depending on how many homes you're showing or how many buyers you have. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm here and having a lot of time throughout the day where I'm making calls, where I'm prospecting my current database. Um, just to see if they know anyone that's interested in the market, if they what happened to their home search. I think the follow up is very important, and I think um, us as a company, Exquisite Properties being a Zillow Flex team, I saw a statistic that 70% of all people that purchased a property in 2024 went through Zillow. They use Zillow at some point to find a home. And I think for me, being able to position myself in a company like Exquisite Properties that's a Zillow Flex team, it, it hasn't been slower for me. 2024, I've read the same articles where 2024 was a very slow year. It has not been at all for me. It was my best year, actually.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, and for those that don't have Zillow Flex, being able to market yourself and do the follow-up. I think the follow-up is the most important part here in terms of the prospecting, because you'll get a lead and they're like, hey, we're not ready right now. And so you just kind of forget about them. But if you are constantly checking in with them, as you do, I love your follow up, by the way, Dave. A weekly follow up, that's super important. So I think that's how you're able to separate yourself. And there's no secret to it, right? It's just actually doing it, making the call. Even if there's no answer, making the call, sending the text, sending the emails, and staying in front of your clients.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. So I'm in a coaching program for, yes, we do these podcasts, but my day job, what pays the bills is we're a mortgage lender. We're a national lender in all 50 states. And, one of the things that our coaches teach us to do is touch base with our realtor base, whether it's on the phone, a text message on the weekends. You get a text message every weekend. What does it say? Hey, my team's working on the weekends. If you need us, call this number. You know what? I'm not talking to you specifically. I'm talking to whoever answers that phone. So it may be really specific to one client or whatever, but you got to meet your client where they want to be met, whatever form of communication they want to talk to you in. And today we have such a robust form of communication. Some people like to talk on the phone. Some people like to text. Some people like to go to talk through social media. Some people there's so many forms of communication now that you should be able to talk to whatever form of communication they want to communicate on. You should be it's really important to communicate on all forms. Also,
Yeah.
branding is everything now. As a real estate agent, one of the things that we're teaching our realtors is get your name out there. And when they think of when they think of Sebastian, it needs to be all they think about is real estate. You need to be everywhere, Sebastian. You need to be on TikTok. You need to be on Instagram. You need to be on social. You need to be on YouTube. You need to be on
I'm not on
all.
TikTok. I'm not on
Yeah,
TikTok. That's the only one. That's the only one I don't do. But yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. It should be on.
yeah.
We have to maximize exposure as much as we can.
Well, let's talk about your age, your age group, your demographic. Millennials and Gen Z. Millennials and Gen Z make up 75 million of the population size. What age group is that? That's between the ages of 29 to I think 39 or something like that, right?
Okay.
These people are
Gotcha.
looking to buy their first house. 75 million people in the next 3 years. 3 years, 75 million. So you got to meet them where they want to be met. And so I think that's where you come in. I think with the Zillow partnership and everything that you're doing out there to be successful, that's why you're killing out there. And then doesn't it doesn't hurt you that you're bilingual in a in a community that is very strong Hispanic descent. I'll share your stat. You share a stat about Zillow. 20% of all first-time home buyers last year were of Hispanic descent,
Oh
and
wow.
they're saying in the next 20 years that number is supposed to be 70%. 70%.
First time
So
home buyers.
yeah, first time home
Wow.
buyers are going to be of Hispanic descent. And that, in Texas, we have a large population, but now you're talking about the whole United States. So, every company is focusing towards that. We here at Click Close have a Hispanic team, the reason why I say that is because the Hispanic community is a little bit different. Normally, I would send an online application for someone to fill out. In my Hispanic community, I either have to meet them face to face or we got to do it over the phone. Take the application, hold their hand, and stuff like that. Not that they can't fill out an online application, but because that's the way they want to do business. And you got to meet your clientele the way they want to do business.
Exactly.
But I can tell you this. my Hispanic borrowers are the most loyal borrowers there are. Once we get them under contract, once we close them, not only do we have them, but their entire family. We get more referrals from our Hispanic relationships than any other ethnic group out there.
We're a loyal people, Dave.
I know, I know. That's why I love it. I love it. So let's talk a little bit about what are you doing in 2025? Are you doing anything different? I mean, you doubled every year you've been in business. How's the first quarter of this year for you?
It's going great. Yes. I'm trying to think of my numbers, but I don't have it in front of me.
Don't
But
worry
yeah,
about it.
so far so good. I've closed at least 10 transactions already. Um, so great first quarter. My goals here, the way it works here at Exquisite Properties, we have, in order to qualify for a showing partner, that position that I did for a full year, you have to average
Mhm.
4 transactions for 4 consecutive months. So basically get to 16 transactions in 4 months, and you can qualify for a showing partner. The company pays for half of the salary. And so that's where I'm at right now. I have been so busy. I've actually paused myself for leads for maybe the past 2 weeks just because I was getting a little overwhelmed and I need to keep I was failing in the follow-up part. And so
Yeah.
that's where my goals are right now. So what I'm trying to do is get that showing partner as well as leverage AI,
Mhm.
ChatGPT, and find a way to create marketing material, text, emails to stay in front of my clients because I'm out there showing homes, writing contracts, and I do feel that I'm missing some people. Some people are falling through the cracks because it's just a little overwhelming. So my goals here is get my own showing partner and be able to improve my follow up while maintaining the same level of transactions that I've been doing. So that's kind of where I am. Hey, hopefully we can double up again. That's the goal, and be able
Yeah.
to help at least. I think last year I closed it was 24 families. So I'm on track to beat that. If we can get to 48, I think that'd be a successful year.
Uh, I think you and I both would be very happy with that number if you could get to 48
Yeah.
and everybody else too. So that'd be awesome. So, let's talk about, one thing you said is, real estate is not passive income. Real estate doesn't sleep. I tell people all the time, you have, it's a 24/7 job. There's some people that want to talk to you at 8 o'clock at night and you better be able to pick up that phone or at least get back to them. But what's great about everybody thinks that, every realtor, every mortgage guy is just cashing checks all day long and sipping mai tais on the beach. That's not the case. One of the hardest jobs there is like you said, is 24/7. You spend a lot of weekends out there working when everybody else is playing. You're out there working, but it does give you a lot of freedom, right? If you need to block off 3 or 4 hours, no one's out there telling you what to do, how to do it. You're your own business and entity out there. So I
Hmm.
can't think of a industry to be in. And for wealth building, not only are you building wealth for your clients, but you're also building wealth for you. Is there a future where you start buying some real estate yourself, doing some flipping or anything like that? Or
Yeah, actually, I was having a conversation with one of my great friends yesterday. We're looking into a property, and hopefully, there's a certain price point that we need to get it at, but that's going to be a project that we're probably going to get into pretty soon. A flip, actually, here in San
yeah,
Antonio. So, uh, hopefully, we'll see how that goes.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
mean, I
that's
think that's
awesome.
definitely the goal, and that's the reason. So, I think the reason why I joined, why I wanted to become a realtor, aside, from getting paid a little bit better than I was getting paid at the time, was um, I wanted to. I'm a I'm a jujitsu MMA practitioner. I've been
Hmm.
doing that for a very long time. I actually when I had an MMA fight in Taiwan, and so the reason I originally joined was because I wanted to have more time to be able to do the martial arts. And how was I going to do that? I was going to start building a little bit of cash to be able to start getting into rental properties. And then that will lead to passive income. And I think the passive income is a lie again, because there's always, even if you have rental properties, something's always coming up. So, but that was the original idea. But yes, I still, I am blessed to be able to take a couple of hours off and do a podcast with you, and so, or whatever it is, or go train at midday and then come back to work till later in the night. So I I I, I do appreciate having that flexibility in my schedule. But still, again, just to be clear, it's not like you're wasting time. It's not like you're taking it easy. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of work.
So let's unpack that a little bit. So I love MMA. The fact that you said you did a training match or whatever. Are you doing it semi-professionally, just
No,
here and there?
that was the goal at some point, and then age, father time is undefeated, and so my knees are also pretty banged up, and so I had to kind of uh step away a little bit. But yeah, so in Taiwan, I've been boxing for a very long time. In Taiwan, I started doing jiu-jitsu. I had an MMA fight over there. I won, so I felt great about it. Came back over here, and I've been training since. I train every day, sometimes twice a day, and so yeah, that actually that keeps me. I like the martial arts because it keeps me instilled a discipline in me that I've been able to carry over here. Like if you say you're gonna go train, or if you say you're gonna go work at a certain time, you better be there, right? And so
Right.
yeah, I think it's a great sport for if you want to do it professionally, or if you want to use those lessons that you learn from there in other aspects of your life.
Yeah, yeah. So what is it that how do you connect with your people? Because you obviously, I mean, you're a great guy. Every time I talk to you, I feel like you make it very personable and easy to talk to. What is it that you bring to your clients that separates you from other realtors?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of agents are in it. That's why I'm very careful when I say that I got into it just for money. I think originally that was the thing, but for me is, and this is something I got from my broker Michael Harper, is you're investing in relationships, not in sales. I don't care. I'm not gonna try to push you towards a sale. I need to make sure that you're 100% comfortable with the purchase that you're about to make. It's a huge purchase, right? And for a lot of people, it's the biggest investment that they make in their lifetime. So I need to make sure that you are 100% comfortable with the purchase before you move forward. I'm never going to try to push a sale on you because I'm trying to make a commission. That's not what I do, because if I do that, that's going to hurt my business. You're going to tell people this guy, he sucks. He got me into this house, into this terrible house just because he wanted his commission. On the other spectrum, if I invest in the relationship, I'm like, hey, maybe this one, we should think about this one. They're more likely to refer business to me, to send more business to me because of how I took care of them. So for any realtor out there, I think it's about investing in the relationship, not investing in the sale. And I think that's what separates me.
Well, Sebastian, I mean, I can sit here and talk to you all day, but it's Friday, and I know you're busy. This is, Fridays is the beginning of your work week for
Oh,
for
yeah.
Saturday and Sunday. So I know you got things to do. What should we have talked about that we did talk about today?
Sure. I think we covered a lot of it. I mean, I would just re-emphasize that as a realtor, I think it's important to invest in relationships and not in sales. That's what I think separates me, and staying disciplined in what you're doing, staying very, consistent in your follow up, consistent in your work ethic, and I think anybody can be successful in this business as long as you have the right
Well,
intentions.
I 100% agree. And with that being said, Sebastian, if I'm looking for real estate in the San Antonio area and the people want to find you, and I know they do, how do they find Sebastian?
Well, my number is 210-996-9083. I'm on Instagram as Sebastian Montante Realtor, and I'm on Facebook as Sebastian Montante Realtor. Uh, Message me, call me. My email is Sebastian at exquisitesa.com. Email me, whatever it is. Send me some signals. Be ready to help you all out.
And if you guys are watching this live, you saw this go across the lower thirds. And if you're looking for real estate in the San Antonio area, there's only one person I'd call, and that's Sebastian. I mean, think about that, guys. English teacher, overseas, ex-MMA fighter, and now uh, realtor slash restaurateur guy. I mean, I think you just hanging out with Sebastian, you're gonna get a lot of information, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So, with that being said, don't hesitate to call him. He's available 24/7 because his phone is always on. So, thanks for being with us today. I'm David Wynn. I'm with the Mortgage Edge podcast. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye,
Hi,
guys.
guys.